Attention, please. Here's something I bet you didn't know. Not all supplements are created equal. At HealthSpan, our omega-3 oil is sustainably sourced from the South Pacific Ocean. We find our turmeric in the southern slopes of India. And our cod liver oil comes from the cold, crisp seas off Greenland. We work hard to seek out the best ingredients for our supplements, because that's the HealthSpan way. We're healthspan.co.uk. Vitamins and supplements in-store or direct to your door.
Right now, it's more vital than ever that we keep in touch. So at LOUGHBORO, we're offering a great value SIM-only deal. 1,000 texts and 1,000 minutes to the UK. 100 extra minutes to 40 other countries, plus 2 gigs of data. All for just £5. No contract. You can change at any time. Not that you'd want to. LOUGHBORO. Stay connected.
Vinzo, Battleborn.
Whatever your day holds, you need a breakfast that helps you get up and go. Up.
And go, go, go.
Up.
And go.
A delicious breakfast shake made with oats and milk. High in fibre, high in protein, high in calcium. Start right with Up and Go. The official breakfast partner of British Swimming. Find us in the cereal aisle.
And welcome to the Olympic pool here, the London Aquatic Centre. Wonderful pool it is for the final night of the British Swimming Selection Trials for the Tokyo Olympics. And Adam Peaty is going to dive in 98 days' time on day one. Hugely exciting. There have been massive hurdles already. Despite all these COVID challenges that have been thrown at us, we've had 4 wonderful days of swimming. I have to say it's been quite extraordinary. And a really fabulous final night we've got for you this evening. And I think the race of the meet, the men's 200 metres freestyle, that's the very last race. That's going to be going off at about 8:10 this evening. Make sure you're sitting down for that, because that's going to be an absolute firecracker. 8:12, there we go, the men's 200 metres freestyle. But first we got the men's 1,500 metres freestyle. And I can tell you that Dan Jervis is going for the qualification standard on that. It's a really tough time of 14:55.91, but there's no reason why he can't get very close, if not duck under. And he did declare after the 800, I'm going to smash the consideration time. Well, he's certainly good enough. Let's just hope he's got enough energy after this, this week here at the London Aquatic Centre. Then we've got the women's 1500 metres freestyle, the fastest heat. Women's 100 metres breaststroke, where we saw wonderful 200 metres breaststroke swimmers already this week. And then there's Craig Hunter being introduced to, well, I was going to say introduced to the crowd. There is no crowd here on purpose. They've specifically excluded all the spectators, trying to minimise the risk of receiving COVID of any of the athletes. I just finished off the night, the men's 200 metres backstroke. Luke Greenbank pre-selected, the British record holder on this 200 metres backstroke, 4th fastest in the world this year. Women's 53 is going to be a cracker. Anna Hopkin, fastest seed in that, but there's a couple of women in that think they can make the qualification standard. And then the final race of the evening, it's an absolute belter. 6 of the swimmers in the final heat would have made the semi-finals of the last Olympic Games. It's a wonderful, wonderful final race. Well, I've got to say I'm delighted to be joined this evening by the National Performance Director of British Swimming, Chris Spice. And can I just first say, Chris, congratulations on getting so many of our elite athletes here to this meet and swimming so well. I mean, it's been a wonderful couple of days so far. How you've managed to do it, I just don't know. But on behalf of all the swimmers in Great Britain, it's wonderful to have all these heroes ready to go to the Olympics and more this evening.
Andy, thanks very much. Yeah, look, it's been a massive task, and not just for us and the leadership team, but a whole lot of people that have worked behind the scenes to make this happen. And just really chuffed we can get it over the line with all the challenges that we've had.
Well, talking about those challenges, I mean, just for those of us who don't know all the details, just give us a sort of a quick overview of what are your key responsibilities as the National Performance Director?
Well, first and foremost is to get the team at the world level to perform well, and whether that's the Olympics or the World Championships, and to come home with as many medals as possible. That's the #1 goal. But then there's a wider brief around looking after the youngsters and making sure that we've got the right development pathways in, and working with our home nations in the talent area. And then, of course, we've got to pick the Olympic teams and write the selection policies. So there's a lot of, it's a wide brief really, but it's really to oversee everything. And ultimately, you know, I need to employ all the staff and make sure we've got the right people behind the athletes. So, but it's a great job. It's fantastic.
Well, I have to say the bit that I'm most excited about, I have to say, is the selection of the British Olympic team. And you've got a meeting tomorrow, I believe. Is that right? Your first selection meeting?
Yeah, correct. We've changed the selection policy this time. It's not all about what happens here, but primarily we'd like to select as many athletes as possible from here, obviously, to give them the right preparation. But we've now got further meets down the year to look at as well.
Super. Well, let me just break into the meet for a second here, Chris, because we got the first race, the men's 1500 metres freestyle, and you've just seen introduced to, well, the crowd is the swimmers who are here this evening and the officials and the coaches. Joseph Kingsland of Nova Centurion in 8. In 7 is Josh Williams of Wickham and District. In 6 we got William Bell from Loughborough University. Toby Robinson in 5. And then here he is, Dan Jervis, was 3rd on the 400 metres freestyle. Right on his lifetime best, just missed the qualification standard on the 800 metres freestyle by just 0.4 of a second, over 7 minutes and 50 seconds. But this is his best event, the 1500. The standards are hit, 14:55.91. Luke Turley goes in 3 from the Bath National Centre, coached by Joel Fink, and he's having a super meet, Joel. His team done really well. Alexander Hindle, the 18-year-old from the city of Birmingham, going in lane number 2. And in lane 1, Thomas Davidson, also of the city of Birmingham, 9th on the 800 metres freestyle. 2 18-year-olds in 1 and 2, 2 18-year-olds in 7 and 8. But the class of the field most definitely is Dan Jervis in lane number 4. So the start is there for the 1500 metres freestyle for men. And Dan Jervis is, well, I was going to say the fastest after the heats, but this is the final heat. It's a heat declared winner event. And so there was 1 heat this morning, and then the fastest 8 men in this evening. In the women's event, only 7 entries for the 1500, so no heats this morning, straight into the final this evening. 30 lengths of the pool, the 1500 metres freestyle, British Swimming Selection Trials, final heat. Dan Jervis in 4. So 30 lengths of the pool, men's 1,500 metres freestyle. And Chris Spice is with me. I'll just take us down the first 100 metres or so, because there's a couple of questions I'm really looking forward to asking you, Chris, about the selection policy and what's going to happen next. But
Sure.
we'll just get into this first 100 or so. And Dan Jervis looking very good in the green hat, right in the centre there. And going with him, one lane up, is Luke Turley from the Bath National Centre. And Joel Fink's team, well, they've had an absolutely wonderful meet so far, particularly that men's 400 metres freestyle is a standout for me. Kieran Bird was just phenomenal. 3 minutes 50 was his lifetime best. He came in here and he went 3:46.00 underneath the qualification standard and put himself forward for consideration at the selection meeting, which is happening tomorrow. And one of those selectors is sitting right next to me. Dan Jervis over first at the 100, 56.5. He's got a tough job here. He's going to have to probably do a lot of this on his own if he's going to get near 14.55. But I'm confident. Let's just get back to the questions here, though, Chris. I don't want you nipping off before I've asked you a whole load of questions here.
No,
because
excuse me if I yell out, and it's cheering Dan as we're halfway through.
You crack on. You crack on. No, I was just saying, man, at the start, well done for getting everybody here so well. We've had such a great set of people. I think 24 swimmers, by my reckoning, 24 swimmers either pre-selected, have won their race in under the consideration time, or come second inside the consideration time. And that includes maybe the men's 4x100 free relay, where the relay time set was underneath the qualification standard, so a couple of extra names in there. I'm certainly not asking you to tell me who's on the team, but it's going to be a very interesting process to have that meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, look, we've for a long time changed how we've selected the teams, and I think, Andy, when I first came into the job, we had very large teams, and there were a lot of people on those teams that were miles away from anywhere near the podium. And one of the things that struck me was that we really needed to focus on, be serious about the people that really want to win medals when they get on the team. And so we've virtually cut the team in size and made it much more tougher to qualify. But what that does mean is when they do qualify, then everyone knows they're in medal range, or they're going to help someone that's in medal range. And that's really helped us shift the culture of the team. So there are no passengers anymore, and if these guys get selected, they'll know that they're right in medal range for the Olympics, and that really makes the team fire when we get together.
I tell you, just picking up on what you said, though, was fascinating, because you tried to make the team a bit smaller by setting really tough qualification standards. You're going to choose 35 swimmers for this meet, probably because most, if not all, I would imagine, would have done this really serious consideration time.
Well, we're at, as you said, we're about 24 at the moment, and we've got 35 maximum, so we don't have to go to the maximum. But we did extend it out because we thought that we might have a good year. So normally our maximum's 30, but we pushed it depending on what happens with the relays, of course.
Well, it's certainly going to be a very interesting meet, but some of the swimming's been wonderful. Seeing some of the youngsters coming through has really been absolutely fantastic. So this is the last night. We've got 24 so far. You were looking to select apparently about 75% of the team maybe tomorrow, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. The reality for us is that we've had a similar selection policy since I've been involved, and everyone that's hit the consideration time has actually made the team. So those guys that have done it, whether they've come first or second, and providing we're not going near the number of 35, they're 90% chance of being there. But obviously we have to wait for tomorrow to see how it all pans out. But that's why we call it a consideration time, because suddenly if we had 45 people do the consideration time, there'd be people we'd have to leave at home. So, but we're in good shape, really good shape. Kids have swum brilliantly here, and Dan's doing really well, from what I can tell.
Well, he's looking good. 3:54.6 at what's that? The 400-meter turn. So he's got 1,100 metres to go at that last turn. Still an awful long way, and he's got a long, decent gap between him and the second place swimmer at the moment, which is Toby Robinson of Loughborough National Centre, one closer to us from Dan Jervis, the leader. And then one at the top there, currently turning in third. That's Luke Turley of the Bath National Centre. But he looks very good at the moment, Dan Jervis. It's such a shame there's no spectators here to urge him on.
Yeah, and I think, that's one of the great things about swimming, Andy. I remember Dan's 1,500 from a couple of years ago, and absolutely everyone in this building will be willing him on when he gets to that last 200, and that's the fantastic thing about swimming. And the swimming public, no matter where you're from, you're so desperate to help people get on the team. And I really hope, even though there's not many people in here, that when it comes down to that last couple of hundred, that they make some noise and really help him over the last 200, because he's an absolute super lad and he really deserves to be on this team. So I'm really hoping he can do it.
Well, I think so say all of us on that one. He's an absolutely wonderful chap. And his interview after the 800, where he missed the qualification standard by 0.4 of a second over 7 minutes and 50 seconds, just heartbreaking. He's repping just about 60 seconds for his hundreds at the moment, which he needs to hang on to, because the qualification standard is 14:55.9. So as long as he can stay at the hundreds, turning about 55 seconds or 56 seconds past the minute, then he's going to be right in there. Maybe his last 100 hopefully will be about 57 or so, so he could come back a little bit. Let's just see what the seconds are higher. Maybe 55, 56, what is he? 49, 55. Oh, that's a good one. So he was just about 60.4 there. Needs to step it up a little bit to make sure that he's going to qualify, but he's going well at the moment. And he's going well. Talking about what happens next, let's. We've had a really successful trials, I think, so far. You can tell me about that in a second. But so, what do you do now? I mean, obviously, you've done the hard part so far, but Petey doesn't dive in for another 98 days. What do you do next?
Yeah, look, the challenge now is that obviously we've swum really well here, and we say to the team, you know, we don't win medals in April. We win medals in the summer, and this next cycle is going to be really important for that. We'll do some racing at the Europeans, or the Olympic team will go there, and probably we'll take some young ones as well to give them some experience at European level. And then the next block in is really important. And obviously we would have done a lot more competition, but because of COVID, we're actually going to stay at home and use the Glasgow meet as our final prep meet, so that we can keep all the athletes safe as we go in. But the real message, Andy, is, you know, everyone from here, no matter how well you've swum, we want to swim quicker in the summer. And if we can do that as a team, we often talk about this amongst ourselves. The medals come to us. We don't go chasing anything. There's no nerves about any of that. If we swim really well on the back of here, we know that we'll have a really good meet.
You know, I'm really pleased that you guys don't get nervous, because I get massively nervous in the commentary box. It's exhausting.
I'm not saying I don't get nervous. We'll see in the last 100 of this race. But, you know, yeah, that's the thing we like to focus on. It's a process, and if we know we swim 70% plus, we'll be in the top 2 nations. We were 69% in Rio, and we had a brilliant meet. You know, 6 medals and 7 fourth places. You know, we're off the charts. If we do that again, I'm absolutely confident the medals will come to us.
And you say 69 or 70%, what, 69 or 70% of what?
Of each athlete in the team swimming a season's best after April.
Okay, sorry, I'm just looking at the times there. I'm trying to do 2 things here. I'm just looking at the times because Dan Jervis has just, for the first time in a couple of hundreds, gone under 60 seconds for the 100 meters split. And that's really important, because he's turning with about 55 seconds or so past the minute, and he's got to finish with 14:55.91. So as long as he can stay there or thereabouts, his last 100 will be quicker. There's a 25, so that's pretty good too. So he's right on it, and he looks really good at the moment. This is great to see from Dan Jervis of Swansea University, the 24-year-old. One name closer to us is Toby Robinson, was 4th on the 800 metres freestyle. It's actually a really good open water swimmer, Toby, in that black suit.
It's probably a bit short for Toby, to be honest.
God, can you imagine? 50, it's about 60 lengths of most people's local pools. This is a 25-metre pool. 60 lengths. They're going absolutely hammer and tongs. Let's see the split here. Hopefully around 55.0. 54.8, another just sub 60.
Bang on.
Chris, are we happy?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I know what his last 100's like, so if he's got 5 seconds up his sleeve, we'll be right. 5
seconds, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Well, Dan Jervis looks like he's on track for the Olympic qualification standard of 14:55.91. We've got 24 swimmers already made it. It will be fantastic to add the 25th right here. Great. So anyway, back to Chris Spice and back to the National Performance Director and delivering British swimming not only here. I love the line about you don't win medals in April. That's a fabulous one. But talking about not winning medals in April, I was lucky enough to have the Chief Exec of British Swimming, Jack Buckner, with me the other day. And I said, when you get to the Olympics and it's all finished, it's day 10 and you look back, it's all done, what will success look like? Well, what is your answer to that as the National Performance Director? What are you looking for?
Well, I think, you know, we all know we had probably our best Olympics in 100 years in Rio, and if we come back better than that, then you know, that'll be a substantial achievement to not just do it as a one-off, but to get that level again would be magnificent. And we'll measure that by our own performances and, as I say, by how many of the team can swim quicker than they're swimming now. And that's why the sports science medicine teams and all the coaches will be working on, and we'll be planning to the nth detail around the morning finals, for example, which is something that we've done a lot of work on already. So there'll be different challenges for us around that. But we've got such a world-class team, Andy, now. The strength and conditioning guys, I mean, you only have to look at the shape of these athletes now. I mean, there are people here that have shed 5 and 6 kilos from last year, and they've dropped times phenomenally. And the strength and conditioning in the guys has just been fantastic. Kathleen Dawson, she's just been absolutely brilliant here, and the guys in Stirling, you know, absolute brilliant job with Steve and Shanksy up there has been brilliant. So, you know, it's nice to see that when you put resource behind these athletes, that they're just champing at the bit, and they've been just phenomenal through this lockdown, working on their own, working in gyms, working in their back garden, taking all sorts of weights home as we've, you know, not been able to train at times. And the resilience of our athletes has just been phenomenal to see.
Well, speaking of resilience of athletes, this is such a hard task, pretty much on his own now, and Dan Jervis is swimming really well. It's great news. He's now on 10:54 at that 1100 metres turn, the last one. Let's see the numbers here. And it's 24, so he's on the fours. He's coming down. It's 14:55 is the target he's going for. And he's just speeding up a tiny bit each 100, just diving under the 60 seconds. And if he can keep that going, he's going to make it. This is an absolutely brilliant swim, all on his own. Goodness me. And I was trying to work out with Jazz whether the distance guys or maybe the sprinters were the worst affected. And I kind of summarised, and I made it up myself, but I sort of decided that maybe the distance guys who hadn't necessarily had quite as much work may be slightly more detrimentally affected. Is there a pattern yet to emerge in, Chris?
Yeah, look, I think it's been really interesting when we've had so much time out of the water, what's been the impact in the water. And what we're finding is that we're going to learn a whole lot of stuff that we haven't learnt before, because we had a 10-week block where everyone's out of the water. The Scottish athletes were longer. The Welsh athletes have been in and out because the home nation rules are different. But definitely I think it's been tougher for the distance guys because, you know, they're not big gym bunnies like the sprinters. And the sprinters have done a lot of work on land. But, you know, so for Dan to be out there doing this on his own is just brilliant. And Adam and the team down there have been absolutely spot on with him all year. So I'm confident he's going to do this. If he's got 5 seconds, if he's 5 seconds under with 100 to go, he's got a really good last 100. So he's bang on, bang on.
Well, he's swimming really well. He's getting better and better. He's now, what is that, in the 53s, I think, something like that. Yep. 12:53, very good. Yep. 12:53, 58, 200 metres to go at that turn. Just 4 lengths left. There's what's now 3.5 lengths left. And right in the centre, in the green hat of Swansea University. Wow, really done a super job.
Great. His stroke's looking great.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Dan Jervis, third on the 400 metres freestyle. Won the 800, but just outside the consideration time. Another really good turn. That was a fabulous turn. Discipline underwater as well from Jervis. This is looking great. 2.5 lengths now to go. The 100 metres left turn is just coming up here, and Jervis in the centre looks absolutely fantastic.
I'm getting sweaty up here, Andy.
Well, luckily we're socially distanced, Chris, so that's okay. You crack on, mate. 2 lengths to go at this turn. The final of the 1,500 metres freestyle, and Dan Jervis from the gun has gone absolutely brilliantly. What a massive task he's had. 14:55.91 he's got to achieve, and I've no doubt now that he's going to do it. 13:53.3 with 100 to go. And the coaches just in the background there in their socially distanced coaching pen, all waving him on. Wouldn't it be just wonderful to see him book his, well, I was going to say book his ticket to Tokyo. He's going to book his little ticket into the pot for consideration for tomorrow's selectors meeting. This is brilliant stuff. So Dan Jervis, from the start, he really has gone. Look at his legs now. Well, Chris, you said 5 seconds he can have on the last 100 if he needs it. He looks really good. I think he's going to go close to, that's 14 minutes and 50 seconds, which would be wonderful. The time he's looking for, 14:55.91. 14:55, oh, that's brilliant. 14:51.49. Chris is clapping. I've got to say, I'm going to stand up and cheer that one because that is just extraordinary. Done it on his own. Second, Tobias Robinson, 15:01.35, just outside the 15-minute barrier. He's getting closer and closer. And then third, Luke Turley, a good swim from him. His lifetime best, 15:16, I think. And he's just gone a 15:07. So that's 8 seconds inside his lifetime best. But Chris, you're smiling. I don't see you smile that much, so that's that's wonderful to see.
Phenomenal swim, and you know it is so tough to do that on your own, you know, and to have no one around you to pace you, and he's so far in front of everyone else, and no, absolutely dead chuffed for him. Absolutely deserves it.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well, that's the 25th person who's added their name to the list for consideration for the selectors meeting tomorrow, and well, true to form. He was interviewed yesterday, or the other day, on the 800, after the 800 metres freestyle by Jazz Carling, and he said, I'm going to smash the consideration time on the 1500 metres freestyle. Well, job done. Very, very well indeed.
Yeah, no, super swim.
How you can deliver a swim like that after all the challenges that they've had under COVID. Chris Spice, it's been fantastic to have you in the commentary box. Thank you so much indeed. And can I also, on behalf of British Swimming, all the punters around the country, so many swimmers just about to start getting back into the water again, I hope. Start getting back into training on all the clubs. Thank you for delivering so many superheroes. And I'm really excited about what's going to happen in Tokyo in 98 days' time, because it's so important to have people to look up to. And I'm absolutely sure that the team is in the best shape it could possibly can be. How you've done it, I don't know, but congratulations.
Thanks very much, Andy. And you know, I think what we've got now is a really good platform to move forward. And we didn't know what we were going to get in this meet either, because we hadn't competed much. But we had a great step in the water with Manchester, but we're dead chuffed now.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much.
Chris, thanks very much for joining me. So results of that final heat of the men's 1500 metres freestyle. Dan Jervis winning it in underneath the consideration time. 14:55.9 was the target. In the end, pretty comfortable. And Chris Spice's prediction was very good indeed on that, wasn't it, on that last 100. National Performance Director. And Toby Robinson second, Luke Turley third. Huge lifetime best for him. William Bellin fourth. And there's a lot of youngsters in this meet who are doing really well. There's Dan Jervis. How you can look so fresh. Look at that. He's got a little bit of pink on his face, on his chest, but that's about it. He looks wonderful. Look at that. Having a little bit of a joke and a laugh. He's going to talk to Jazz Carling in a second, and I can't wait for that. That's going to be wonderful. Wonderful to hear. Such a lovely guy. A great talker. It's going to be super to listen to him and see what he has to say. And here he is, Dan Jervis, the winner of the 1500, talking to Jazz Carlin.
Dan, you said after the 800 you were going to smash this 1500, and you certainly did. Can you sum up your emotions Can you sum up your emotions for us? How much this means to you?
Well, I think you only have to know me for 5 seconds to know that this is my dream. Ever since I was a young boy, I've only wanted to be an Olympian. That's all I've ever wanted to be. And like the time, I was really happy with the time, but honestly, I don't really care about that. All I care about is the fact that my family back home just watched me qualify, well, have the consideration time for the Olympic Games, and everyone who's ever supported me knows how much that would have meant to me, and thank you guys, I appreciate that so much, and it's come true.
It has been a tough week for you, but you've had some great swims. How have you picked yourself up and got ready for that final swim?
I think, you know, the 400, I was really happy with it. The 800, I just missed it, but that really gave me the confidence for the 1500. I found this week actually one of the hardest competitions I've ever done. Not so much the swimming, everyone swam fantastic, but you know, being stuck in my room for a week, which has felt like, you know, I don't know the right word. I've been thinking about this all day, but it's been really tough, you know, not being able to see many people, but you know, that's the situation, and you know, fortunately, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to compete right now. So I'm very grateful for everyone that's put this competition on, you know. And
have you got a quick message for your family, friends watching back home that have been supporting you?
I mean, it's just, as I said, this is an absolute dream, and you know, I'm gonna, when I'm able, I'm gonna give you all a big hug and everything. I can't wait to see my family when I get back home, and I'm sure my phone's exploding right now, and I just can't wait to FaceTime my family and have a takeaway tonight.
Oh, congratulations, Dan. I'm so proud of you. Well done.
Oh, thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.
Stunning stuff, absolutely brilliant. You have to stand up and applaud someone like that. Just missing out on the Olympic qualification standard on the 800 metres freestyle. The time was 7:49.9. He went 7:50.2, I think it was, 7:50.3. Unbelievable, just missed out on that. And then comes back a couple of days later, and he said he would, and he did. Smashed the consideration time. Wow, well done. That was brilliant. Well, the next race up is the women's 1500 metres freestyle, and the British record is held by Jazz CARLIN. That's 15:47.26. And very pleased to say that she will be joining me in a second. She's just done that interview with Dan Jervis, so she's just hot-footing up the stairs. She'll be with us in a sec. KAILYN Hall of Aberdeen Performance going in lane 7. And then in lane 6, Amy Hood. I've talked about the ages of the swimmers here, and it's really heartening to see quite a lot of really good youngsters coming through. 17-year-old in 7, 16-year-old in 6, 16-year-old up in lane 1 as well. Jacob Whittle may well have made the Olympic team on the men's side on the 100 metres freestyle, swimming 48.7, was 4th on the individual 100. Here, though, is the fastest seed, won the 800 metres freestyle. British champion in the 800 and the 1500 metres freestyle. Very good open water swim as well, Leah Crisp. Lauren Wetherall from Ellesmere College, 3rd in the 800, goes in lane 3. And then fascinating in lane 2. Here she is, Lucy Charles-Barclay. Most swimmers would know her as Lucy Charles. She's a fantastic distance swimmer. She's also a stunning triathlete, an absolutely wonderful triathlete. She's been to the Ironman World Triathlon Championships in Kona in Hawaii. And not only been there, she was runner-up in 2017, 2018 and 2019. 3.8K swim, 110 miles on the bike, and then a marathon. This is bonkers. Absolutely brilliant athlete, supremely fit. Leah Crisp, the fastest seed, is in lane 4. Lucy Charles will be up in lane 2, right next to Livia Kingsland, the 16-year-old from Nova Centurion in 1. Emily Clark, the second fastest swimmer, seeded into this final heat. It's actually the one and only heat, the women's 1500 metres freestyle. The qualification standard set for these trials, and then unfortunately they had to pare it down because they had to manage a bubble, manage as many athletes and coaches and officials as they possibly could within a COVID bubble. It's a tight bubble too, it really is. The rules are really strict. And so in doing so, they had to reduce the numbers here by an awful lot. An example, Mount Kelly down in Tavistock in Devon had 50 people qualify for the Olympic trials. Unfortunately, they were only, I think it's 13 they were able to bring in the end because they had to pare it back so brutally, British swimming. But it was the right thing to do, absolutely the right thing to do. Keep the top athletes as safe as possible. Tough for those who weren't able to be here, but they really had to make sure that they were fit, and not everyone's been able to have access to water, so probably the best thing. Take it steady coming back, plenty of time. And look at this, Lucy Charles up the top there. The triathlete set off really well. She actually swam the Olympic test event for the open water, 10K in Hyde Park. There she is. The 10K in Hyde Park before the 2012 games. That was held in 2011. And apparently the water there tasted a little bit ducky. I was talking to one of the swimmers who came out after the actual Olympics. I was commentating on that, and one of the swimmers came out and said, God, it tastes really ducky. And I was like, well, I'm not surprised. 1,000 years of geese have pooed in it. That was the Serpentine. There is a wonderful Serpentine swim team actually, and I think, don't they go in on Christmas Day, break the ice and get in there? Anyway, going very well at the moment is Lucy Charles-Barclay up the top there in lane 2. Leah Crispin the centre, started off fairly comfortably in that bright pink suit, turning in about 4th place at the moment. So Lucy Charles-Barclay over first. Amy Hood, the 16-year-old from Birmingham, in lane 6. Closer to us is in second. Then that green suit up there of Lauren Weatherall of Ellesmere College. Well, Lucy Charles-Barclay's gone off like a shot, and delighted, absolutely delighted to say you don't realise how happy I am that I've been joined by the British record holder, and she's breathing quite heavily, having...
There's a lot of steps, I'll tell you that.
I was just going to say sprinted up the steps. Can I, first of all, before we do talk about this 1500 freestyle, in which Lucy Charles-Barclay's gone off really well down the first, 200 metres, but what a great interview that was with Dan Jarvis.
Oh, I was quite emotional, and at times it's quite hard because obviously I know a lot of these swimmers so well, and I've trained alongside Dan in Swansea, and I was struggling to get my words out because I felt really emotional, you know. I know how hard he's worked, I know how much he wanted it, so to get under that time, and he's just such a lovely man, and obviously I've seen him from 2014 Commonwealth Games with him, and just seen him develop and grow, and so that was a really special swim, but yeah, sprinted up here after, and that's why I'm so out of breath.
Well, you did very well, and I'm delighted you did, because this 1500 metres freestyle, the closest I got was doing 4 lengths, and this is 30. But you are an absolute master at it. British record holder. What is that, 1547, I think is the British record, something like that?
Yeah, 1547.
Yeah.
From 2013, I think I did it.
Did you? Where do you remember where you did it?
It was in Sheffield, yeah. At the World Trials. I actually had a really great meet that meet. Had the 800 the night before and went 8:18, and then followed back with a 1500 the day after with 1547. So yeah, it's actually great to watch Lucy here. You know, I think a lot of the triathletes will be tuning in tonight to see how she's getting on. But yeah, she's really pushing herself out from the first go, really testing herself. And I think even when I've watched the Super League triathlon, her in Ironman, she really attacks all her races and gives it some heart. So it'd be great to see how she fends up against some of the distance swimmers here.
Well, I was talking to a mate of mine, Glenn Cook, who's I used to swim with at Mount Kelly. A bunch of swimmers. We've got a little WhatsApp group, which is quite exciting. When I asked him about Lucy Charles-Barclay, and he did say that she's come second in Kona at the World's Ironman Triathlon Championships 2017, 2018 and 2019. That's unbelievable. That
is unbelievable. And obviously that is a 3.8 kilometre swim. Whereas here, obviously, it's 1500. And I actually caught her as she got out of the warm-up, and I said, Lucy, how are you feeling? And she said, well, I haven't swum a 1500 in the pool since 2019, so she said, I'll just see how it goes, try and enjoy it as much as you can enjoy a 1500, she said.
It's probably a bit short for her, isn't it, if she's 3.8k in the Ironman?
Yeah, she's obviously used to the open water. That was her background from open water swimming. So it's actually quite nice to see her in the pool and to see her challenging herself, you know. She always says she takes on new challenges, loves to really push herself. And obviously going for that long distance, she did obviously swim 10 kilometres as well, open water. So she's got a lot of experience, but I guess not as much in the pool in the recent years. But it's great to see her in here and just having a go to see what happens.
Well, she went off like a shot. The first 100 metres, I think she might have got a bit excitable.
I think traditionally with triathlon, you know, that first 100 is a scrap.
Yeah.
You're trying to get the front of the pack, and you're trying to have a really strong swim, and you've got to try hard on that first 100 to 200 metres. So I think that's probably where it's come from. But I guess she's locking into that pace. But some of those distance swimmers are starting to come through from the pool with maybe a slight bit more experience in the past few years in the 1500.
Well, starting to come through is Leah Crisp, who won the 800 metres freestyle right in the centre. And she may be first to turn. It's going to be quite tight. It is Crisp just by 11/100ths from Emily Clark of Loughborough University, one lane closer to us of those two leaders in the centre. Clark in the black hat, Crisp in that pink suit. And then Lucy Charles-Barclay just maybe starting to be dropped a little bit maybe by the two leaders in the centre. Lucy Charles-Barclay representing Epping Forest. I think she might be the first swimmer from Epping Forest that I've ever commentated on.
Oh, it's a first.
I knew you'd be excited about that.
Lucy has a very high tempo to a stroke, and I think that's very traditional with open water, having quite a high stroke rate, but she's very powerful. And if you think she normally swims a 3.8 kilometre swim, and then I think it's 180 kilometres on the bike, and then a marathon at the end. Yeah. Like, it's just crazy. So the engine she must have, but it'd be nice to see her obviously coming in with a bit of a tussle with the girls and see if she can hang on to them.
Well, I was talking to Chrissy Wellington, who was multiple Kona champion, and she used to be a swimmer, I think in Norwich somewhere. What a lovely lady she is. She just smiles all the time. And it was great talking to her about the experience and certainly having her background as a swimmer. And quite clearly, Lucy Charles-Barclay here, a very, very good swimmer. And I thought she was going to get dropped, but not a chance at the moment. She's hanging in really tough. This is very good to see. Leah Crisp in the centre did win the 800. She's the British champion on this 800 metres, oh sorry, the 800 metres freestyle, and this, the 1500 metres free. And well, that was an interesting shot of Lucy at the top there. She sort of got one of those sort of very short, choppy strokes, doesn't use her legs very much. Almost like a bath toy.
Oh, not back to the bath toy, are we? I got described as a bath toy. For all those listeners that maybe didn't hear the other day, my stroke was described as a bath toy, which is fine, you know. If it works, it works. You make the most of it. But yeah, I think very high tempo, high stroke rate. And again, with the open water, you've got to be prepared, you know. There could be waves, it could be choppy, you could be pulled in the current. But yeah, not a very strong leg kick, which is quite traditional, maybe for some of the distance swimmers.
Just before I get lots of messages, I was joking, by the way. She's a wonderful swimmer, and describing my co-commentator, double Olympic silver medalist, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, I think once, 4 times European.
Yeah.
Gold.
You've got it.
Yeah. I'm getting there. By tomorrow, I'll be right on it.
And we'll be sat at home watching, thinking, what a great week we had.
So the swimmers in the centre going well, but I thought they might have dropped Lucy. Lucy was about 5 or 6 metres ahead up there in 2 for a while. And the start, certainly from Leah Crisp, nice and comfortable. And, well, they seem to have just made a little bit more of a move in the centre. Leah Crisp leading. There she is, with that blue hat of the Bath National Centre, and then Emily Clark, 1 lane closer to us. A really interesting stroke from Emily Clark. Look at that. Sort of a catch-up stroke almost.
Yeah, it's a beautiful long stroke, quite low stroke rate. Not a strong leg kick either, so she's got a lot of power through those arms. But Lucy's staying in, and now she's got a race on her hands. You know, it's once you get your teeth into it, you don't want to let go. So it'll be interesting to see how this race pans out.
Well, talk to me about the leg kick there of the lane 5 in the black suit there, Emily Clark, because there's hardly any at all.
No, it's a very easy leg kick. You know, I think with the distance swimmers, the legs are your biggest muscles in your body, and they take and require a lot of oxygen. And so typically with distance swimming, you don't always see a strong leg kick because we're trying to work on that nice strong pull. I used to do a lot of pulling training, sometimes 4 1500s pull just with paddles, just trying to work on that upper body strength. So it is key, and I used to have a 2-beat crossover leg kick, whereas it looks like Emily Clark has just got a very gentle kick, maybe a 2-beat kick, just that balance of her stroke and the rotation of her freestyle.
Well, she certainly looks comfortable with it. It seems to be pretty efficient, but look up the top there. Lucy Charles-Barclay is just, well, she seems to have got into a rhythm and seems comfortable in that rhythm. Maybe Leah Crisp just starting to push a little bit. So 600 metres to go at this turn, I think. I think that's the 900 metres turn, it is. So 12 lengths left. And also fairly interesting, going this way up the pool, Lucy at the top there seems to catch Leah Crisp a little bit, and then coming back, Leah Crisp seems to go away a tiny bit. Is that possible? Is that just my imagination?
I don't know whether it's her breathing pattern. She seems to mainly be breathing to her right, and then the slight one to the left maybe to have a look, but mainly to her right. So I don't know whether it's something to do with the breathing pattern, that when she can see people in her sights, or how it's affecting her that way. This is the lap counters as we're coming in, so they've got 11 lengths to go, which is great to see. And I think even seeing all the volunteers here and everyone that's supported this event, it's just, we're so thankful to have this event here and to have everyone supporting us. So yeah, very grateful for those volunteers that have really helped us this week, and always come in with a smile, even though you can tell they're smiling even underneath their mask with their eyes.
Well, they've certainly been very jolly, and interestingly, it's not only the swimmers that have to go into the bubble, but it's everybody, because obviously you can't have a timekeeper who just goes out and goes to the pub and then comes in and does some timing. Well, he wouldn't do that anyway, of course, but goes and meets people and then comes back bringing whatever with them. So they've all had to be in the bubble as well. So the commitment this week has been really phenomenal. Only allowed in your hotel room or walk straight to the pool, no shops or anything. stay here, and then when you're done, you go back to your hotel room. You can go down to the hotel's restaurant, pick up a tray, get your food, take it back up to the hotel room and eat it there. It's been really, really strict for very, very good reason. And it's not just the swimmers, it's the coaches, the officials, and you and me, Jazz.
And even talking to Dan there, you could tell it has been tough for him, you know, staying in that room. And he said it has been a very tough week. And I think when you're in a room on your own, in your thoughts in your head, it can be quite intense. But obviously, we've all got to do this to be here and to have this event on. So, yeah, very lucky to be here and being able to watch some swimming live, and some great swimming that we've been watching this week.
Well, there has been some really brilliant stuff and some fascinating stuff here as well. When Leah Crisper goes to her feet, she really does go really well. This is fascinating. It's, she seems to take sort of a metre or two out of Lucy Charles at the top there, and then Lucy Charles just slowly catches it up again, and then Leah just does a little bit of a spurt. I wonder whether Leah Crisp, closer to us, has just gone to her legs a little bit more there.
Yeah, it looks like she's bringing those legs in. Obviously, we're in the final part of the race now, and they're still in a tussle for that top two with Lucy Charles and Leah Crisp. The consideration time is pretty swift in a 16:04. Obviously, when they're based off the world records, and Katie Ledecky is an incredible 1500 freestyler, world record holder. So the times are very quick, but they're having a very strong swim, and it's nice to see them battling out over the 30 lengths, the longest event in the pool, male and female. It's great to see.
Well, it's a new Olympic event, this, I think, the 1500, isn't it? It's been at the World Championships for ages. Did you ever do it at the Worlds? I
did it at the Worlds, but I came 9th. So it wasn't my it wasn't my best week in 2013 at the World Championships. I was a bit off, so just missed that final. But yeah, it was a bit difficult. You know, someone asked me today whether I'd have entered it or wanted to do it if it was in the Olympics in Rio. And it's a very heavy programme when you've got heats and finals of the 400, 800 and 1500. And some of the swimmers also do the 200 as well. So it can be a very busy programme. So it's quite difficult to manage them all, really.
Indeed, and if you throw in the 200, it's heats, semis and finals, isn't it? So that really does add an awful lot. Ledecky has done that programme at the World Championships, and I think she's done the sweep, hasn't she? The 2, the 4, the 8 and the 15. I think
she has done that.
One of very few athletes who've ever achieved that. So there are now 5 lengths to go, 250 metres left in this, the one and only heat of the women's 1500 metres freestyle. And right at the top there, Lucy Charles went off very quickly down the first, probably 200, 250 metres, then just set into a rhythm. Leah Crisp started off a little bit more gently and then moved after about 300 or 400 metres. And these two have been going head to head for the last, what, maybe 800, 900 or so. And Leah Crisp in the centre just cannot drop Lucy Charles.
No, at that turn, there was, oh my God, it's less, so it's 5/100ths of a second in between the two of them. So that is incredibly close, seeing as they've swam 26 lengths.
Goodness me.
And I'm actually really surprised at how good Lucy Charles's turns are. I think she's actually got better turns than what I had when I swam. Seeing as she does a triathlon where it's an open water event, and so there's no turns. She has great turns. Obviously, she does a lot of training in the pool, but she's got great turns.
Well, she used to be a swimmer, obviously, a pool swimmer, obviously a swimmer. She used to be a pool swimmer, now a brilliant world-class World Championship silver medalist in the Ironman. And, well, it looks like Lucy Charles may well just be starting to try and go early. It's a long way out. I know, Jazz, you've got to go down and do the interviews, but do you think she's gone early, too early?
I think maybe she's testing the water, see what she's got on this last 150 metres, coming into that 100-metre turn, hearing that bell. That's what you want to hear on that last final 100 metres. And Lucy seems to be going to her legs, but I've got to go. I'm going to poolside to do the interview, so I'm not going to know who it is when I get down there. And it's a bit of there's a lot of steps to get down. That's why I've been a bit out of breath and maybe talking a bit quickly, so I apologise. But thanks so much for having me in the commentary this week, Andy. I've loved it.
Oh, that's it, isn't it?
That's it. That's our final farewell.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, I have to say, Jazz. It's been really fun working with you, particularly on these longer races. It's a great pleasure to share the chat. But with 50 metres to go, we must concentrate on this because Lucy Charles went with about 200 to go. I think she knew that Leah Crisp has got a bit of a kick, so she's tried to break us slightly earlier, and it's going well at the moment. Crisp in the centre. Lucy Charles up the top there. They're not going to be near the consideration time, but this is an amazing swim from a wonderful triathlete at the top there. Leah Crisp won the 800 freestyle in the centre, and she's going to her legs. It looks like she's maybe just ahead, but Lucy not going to give up at the top. Leah Crisp, I think, is going to win it, the 19-year-old from the Bath National Centre. Oh, my goodness me, right at the very end. Oh, look at that. Is that 15 100ths of a second, something like that? 17 100ths of a second over 6 minutes, 46.09. Leah Crisp adds the 1,500 metres to the 800 metres she won earlier this week. Lucy Charles-Barclay, what a great swim. Not a regular pool swimmer at all, an utterly brilliant Ironman triathlete. And not only does she do Ironman, but she does it in Kona. She does the swim in the sea, then she cycles through the lava fields. It is just unbelievably humid and hot, then runs a marathon. How fit is she? A really cracking swim, wonderfully impressive, and holding the end up for the triathletes in the world brilliantly well. I wonder if she's going to have a crack coming back into the pool after that. That was a wonderful, wonderful swim. So Leah Crisp wins this one and only heat of the women's 1,500 metres freestyle at the British Swimming Selection Trials for Tokyo. The time, 16:46.09. Well, quite a way outside of the consideration time, but she's still got plenty of time to go. I would imagine another 3 years' time, she's going to be 22, Leah Crisp. And the Paris Olympics, I wonder if she'll have a crack at that one. Goodness me, 30 lengths of the pool. The 17 100ths of a second split them. That's brutal. So, confirmation of the result of the women's 1,500 metres freestyle on the fastest heat. Leah Crisp wins it from the Bath National Centre, 16:46.09. And just behind her, just a fingertip, Lucy Charles-Barclay of Epping Forest, the triathlete, 16:46.26. A great swim from her. Emily Clark just dipping under 17 minutes. And then Lauren Weatherall, Amy Hood, Livia Kingsland. Livia Kingsland's brother, actually, just swam the men's 1,500 metres. He was in lane 8. What a family. A sister in the women's 1,500 and then the brother in the men's. Oh dear. Their mum and dad must be waiting around for hours for their training sessions. Good on them. So delighted to say that the winner of that women's 1,500 metres freestyle is nearly ready to talk to Jazz Carlin. 30 lengths. She probably needs a little bit more of a break to get her breath back. A very good swim indeed. And Leah Crisp now talking to Jazz Carlin.
Leah, it came down to that final length and the finish on that 1,500. Can you sum up how this week's gone for you and if you're happy with your swims this week?
I mean, yeah, it's been a tough week, a lot of races, kind of, getting up back to back. But yeah, I've been pretty happy with it, just kind of a little bit off my best, but, race hard, give it a go, so.
And how do you prepare for doing all of the distance events here? Do you prepare a lot in training?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it just comes with hard work, helps you do back-to-back races. But I think a lot of it's mentally as well, to be able to get up each day like it's day one and just go again.
That's great. We loved watching you and congratulations on getting the win there.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to see so many youngsters at this meet really doing well. And that's another great example. Leah Crisp, the 19-year-old, winning the 1,500 metres freestyle and the 800 metres freestyle here. And, well, there's certainly been some wonderful juniors. It's one of the highlights of the meet, really. So many juniors coming through. Tim Jones, the head of the elite development, done a super job. Grant Robbins nurturing the slightly lower levels. The England performance squad as well. Similar in Scotland and Wales. But these guys, Grant, Tim and the teams, really got such an important job. We've got some great juniors, but making that transition from junior to senior, not easy at all. Well, one young lady who's starting to do that very well is on the England performance team, is Katie Matz. So I'm sure Grant will be watching her very carefully. She goes in 8. Jocelyn Ulliott of the Loughborough National Centre in lane 7. She was the British record holder on the 200 metres breaststroke coming into this. And then Molly Renshaw's 200 breaststroke. And this young lady, Abby Wood. What a race that was. Abby Wood came second. And a time that I think is 5th fastest in the world this year. And Molly Renshaw, here is Molly Renshaw in a time that qualifies as the 2nd fastest time in the world this year. 2:21. 200 breaststroke and 2:20 point for Molly Renshaw. Oh my goodness. Well, Sarah Vasey, the Commonwealth champion on the 50 metres breaststroke, loves to go out quickly. If she can hold on, she's got a great chance of going the Olympic consideration time, which is 106.79. 106.79. Her lifetime best is 106.78. So she's got to pretty much do exactly her lifetime best, and she'll get herself a wonderful opportunity for consideration for the selectors to choose the team. The first selection meeting is tomorrow. Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh University swam a great PB to qualify, a lifetime best to qualify in the heats this morning, 68.55. And then 2 swimmers from Winchester, Kayla van der Merwe in lane 2 and Imogen Clark, the European Championship silver medalist on the 50 metres breaststroke in 1. And this women's 100 metres breaststroke, 2 Winchester swimmers in it. And there we go, Imogen Clark, van der Merwe in 1 and 2. Their coach, Zoe Baker, ex-world record holder on the 50 metres breaststroke. And exciting for them. They've got a new 50-metre pool coming in Winchester later this year, so that's going to be a wonderful new club set up. And an elite squad there joining. That's going to be super. But right in the centre, Vasey, Renshaw, Wood, Hanlon. The time is tough. The target time, 1:06.79. Really tough. But 4 or 5 swimmers in this field, I believe, eminently capable of doing it. Abby Wood on the left-hand side of those 2 pink suits. On one lane to our left of her, Molly Renshaw, Sarah Vasey in 4, Hanlon in 3. The final of the women's 100 metres breaststroke. And expect Sarah Vasey to go very quickly down this first 50 in lane number 4. Well, she started well, but also going with her, Molly Renshaw. I know she's been working on her front-end speed, and it looks good, but the turnover of Sarah Vasey in the second is really quick. Also, Cara Hanlon looking very good for Edinburgh University in 3. And if she can smash her lifetime best, that'd be great to see her go close to the consideration time too. Vasey as expected first to turn, 31.11. Molly Renshaw just behind. Imogen Clark also going well up the top there in lane number 1 from Winchester. And she's going really well if she can hang on here. But it looks like Molly Renshaw, the 200 specialist, world ranked number 2 on that 200 metres breaststroke where she won the trial here. She's looking really good. So it's right in the centre. Sarah Vasey's not dropped at all at the moment. In fact, Sarah Vasey's starting to come back again. Really interesting. Molly Renshaw closer to us of those 2 leaders. But Sarah Vasey, I think, is going to get the touch. 106.79, 106.37 and 106.72. So the first 2 swimmers, well done. Massive hug there. The first 2 swimmers have done the consideration time, and wonderful to see. Coming over there is Abby Wood to give Sarah Vasey a hug because she has just won the trial. Look at that smile. Well done. Won the trial in underneath the consideration time. What a swim from Sarah Vasey. Went out for it, really gutsy first 50. Seemed to be starting to be taken over by Molly Renshaw on that third 25 metres off the turn, but then somehow found the strength and the stamina and the speed, held ahead really well. Came back on that last 25, 66.37. A new lifetime best for her. Molly Renshaw, 66.72. Great swim from her as well. Hanlon 3rd, Clark 4th. Wow. 2 swimmers underneath the qualification standard. They were miles behind this morning. That's a great swim. Wow. Another name added to the list. Well, this evening, prior to this evening's racing, there were 24 swimmers. We've had Dan Jervis add his name. And now we've had Sarah Vasey, 26. That's really good. The selectors were looking for about 75% of the team to be selected. They can choose 35. So by my rough maths, 75% of 35, what's that? Well, 75% of 36 is 27, and we've got 26 at the moment. And we've still got the men's 200 backstroke, where we could get a new name in the team there, most certainly possible. Then the women's 50 metres freestyle. Anna Hopkins already on the team, but Lucy Hope, could she do it as well? I'd love to see them actually choose Lucy Hope for the team anyway. She's from a great 100 and 200. If they swim a women's 4x100 and or 4x200, they'll be taking her. And then, of course, that men's 200 metres freestyle to finish a cracker. So, well, one very, very happy lady, Sarah Vasey. I hope now talking down on poolside to Jazz Carling. What a swim.
Sarah, you've waited all week for that swim, and to dip under that consideration time, you must be over the moon.
Yeah, like it's been a really long and hard week, I'm not gonna lie. And I was really nervous this morning because I just had no idea how I was gonna go. And then tonight I was just excited to race, and it's amazing to do it with Molly and Abby as well.
We've seen you with a lot of front end speed, but you seem to pace that really strong coming home. Was that always part of the plan?
Yeah, I feel like this season I've learned a lot about like my racecraft, and to kind of use that first 50 as easy speed. And we've done so much work on that second 50, and I'm just so glad it's paid off now.
And to do it with Molly, second swim under the consideration time and a PB by 0.01, I believe. You must be happy with that swim, Mol.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I think I knew Sarah would go out fast, so I tried to stick with her as much as I could on the first 50. And yeah, just completely rooting for Sarah. Like, she's waited around all week for this. I'm so glad she's done it.
And how are you managing to swim both the 100 and the 200? Obviously, we've seen you focus on the 200, but it's great to see your speed too.
Yeah, I think my focus is definitely the 200, and I think going into the summer it'll continue that way. But it's nice to see my 100 coming down and being a bit more competitive in that, so I'm happy with how it's going.
Well, congratulations, girls. It's great to see you both get under that consideration time, and well done, Sarah, for making it on that final day. Well done.
Well, both of those women, Derbyshire raised, Sarah Vasey winning the women's 100 metres breaststroke in a new lifetime best for her, and she needed to do it to duck under that Olympic qualification time, consideration time, 106.79. Second, Molly Renshaw adds a second on that 100 to that brilliant 200 that she swam earlier in the week. What a week she's had. And, well, in terms of breaststroke coaching generally, but breaststroke coaching, Mel Marshall, wow, quite extraordinary. Well, of course, coaches Adam Peaty and Sarah Vasey used to be at City of Derby with her and then moved to Mel at the Loughborough National Centre. And Molly Renshaw, of course, coached by Dave Hemmings. Dave Hemmings had a really good meet. Abby Wood as well had a super meet. So the next race up is the men's 200 metres backstroke final. James McFadden of Loughborough University going in lane 8. Brodie Williams in lane 7. Here he is, already has his name in the pot for consideration, given the fact that he came second on the 400 medley in a time that was underneath the consideration time. And we just heard from the National Performance Director, Chris Spice, who said in the past, everyone who's done the consideration time has been selected. I'm pretty sure it will happen here, but of course, have to wait for that selection meeting tomorrow. Craig McNally goes in lane number 6 for University of Stirling, the Scottish record holder on the 200 back. And here, Elliot Clogg in 5, right next to his training partner and teammate, also Mel Marshall, coached both of them, Luke Greenbank, the British record holder, world rank number 4, pre-selected for the Olympic Games because of his World Championship bronze medal at the Gwangju, South Korea World Championships 2 years ago. Charlie Brown of Loughborough University, ex of Sheffield, going in lane 3. One of Dave Hemmings' stable now, world junior finalist. Swam a lifetime best to qualify. What a great lane assignment. What a great experience this is going to be, right next to Luke Greenbank. Cam Brooker goes in lane number 2. Swam a lifetime best by 1.5 seconds to qualify for this final. And then in lane 1, Jonathan Adam. Well, his goal really, I think, coming here make the final and then have a crack. Well, he's done the first bit, make the final, 7th fastest in, lifetime best by a second. That's how to do it. Jonathan right at the top. Now he's just got to go and have a go, have some fun. The qualification standard is really, really fast. 1:56.60. The British record holder, Luke Greenbank. Actually, he's just broken James Goddard's British record, and I thought that was going to, I mean, it stood for years and years. Goddard was brilliant. Super chap as well. There he is. Well, interesting to see him dancing up and down on the right-hand side with that green suit on, Luke Greenbank, because he's just turned his ankle a couple of weeks ago and got a really nasty sprain. I wasn't quite sure if he was going to swim here. Swam the 100 well, but probably not as well as certainly his training has been going fantastically well. So I think probably hindered a little bit by that, but pre-selected because of his World Championship medal. Thank goodness, and rightly so. But this event, the 200 backstroke, is his event. 1:55, the British record, 1:55.3. Wow. 4 lengths of the pool, the final of the men's 200 metres backstroke. And Luke Greenbank swam in his early years up at Cockermouth. Fantastic club they've got. Sean Bulmer there doing a really good job, and all the team. They've got a tiny little pool, but everyone takes such pride from all the people who look after it, the whole squad. The detail that those guys go into is just phenomenal. A lovely team. I had a chat with them actually on Zoom over the lockdown period, and what a lovely team. He's got a good brother as well, Luke Greenbank, coming through the ranks. Anyway, Luke right in the centre there, but not leading at the moment. It's Elliot Clogg leading at the moment in that bright purple suit from Loughborough University. And I really hope that Elliot can stick in a big one here. Teammates with Luke Greenbank, 1 lane up from him. Also going well is Brodie Williams, who came second on the 400 metres individual medley and booked a slot. So 2 guys in this final already in consideration for the team, and a great turn in the centre there for Luke Greenbank. Well, that's good to see, because his ankles haven't been particularly good after that really nasty sprain, but he looks very good indeed, and his swimming speed is really good. Got to halfway down that 3rd length just then, and then seems to be starting to pull away a little bit from Elliot. Hopefully Elliot can hang in there. This is the tough part of a 200 backstroke, 50 metres to go. First over is Greenbank. This is a quick swim. 1:25.99 at the turn. Clogg is going well at 1:26.42. And Brodie Williams only just behind. Now, what can we see from Luke Greenbank? Didn't swim as well as I think he would like to have done on the 100, but this is a really good swim. Very, very tough. His British record he only set recently at a time trial in Manchester in the March time trial, 1:55.34. He's got 5 metres to go. He's going to be just outside that, I think, but a really good swim. 1:56.7. Well, he once swam 1:56.95 this morning in the heats. Has another really big crack at it, 1:56.7. And that's just 1/10 of a second outside of the consideration time. But that doesn't matter, because he was pre-selected. The selectors deciding that from the World Championships 2 years ago, anyone who got a medal is pre-selected for the British Olympic team. And so who was that? Well, Adam Peaty, gold medal 100 breaststroke. James Wilby, silver medal 100 breaststroke. Both of those were selected for the team, not necessarily specifically for the 100 metres breaststroke. Duncan Scott, of course. And then here, Luke Greenbank. Well, he's won the 200 backstroke in this British swimming selection trial. 1/10 of a second outside of the consideration time, but he's already on the team. Elliot Clogg, a good swim for him in second. That's a new lifetime best for him. Brodie Williams in third. He'll be on the plane for that 400 medley, I'm sure. Selectors, they've got to pick him tomorrow. McNally in fourth from University of Stirling. Charlie Brown in fifth. 5 swimmers underneath 2 minutes. Some good swimming, really is. Well, thank goodness he wears a swimming hat. He's got a bit of a speed bump there if he took it off. But very, very good swimming. And how this guy's maturing, it's wonderful to see. Goes back to his home of Cockermouth in Cumbria. Beautiful town that is, really wonderful place. And training with Mel Marshall and the team at the Loughborough National Centre. And Loughborough got such a great squad. The two National Centre coaches, chief coaches, there's several of them, but the two chief coaches, Mel Marshall and Dave Hemmings, turning into some of the best sports coaches in the country, I have to say. Well, delighted that the winner is the pre-selected Luke Greenbank, and he is now talking to Jez Carlin.
Luke, pre-selected for Tokyo and some solid swims this week. How are you feeling after this week?
I'm a little bit disappointed with the times. I'm not going to lie. The training I've been doing, I thought coming into this was the best I've ever been, but suffered an ankle sprain a couple of weeks ago, so it's been a massively disrupted taper. But yeah, it's a good opportunity to get some racing in. Would have liked to have gone a lot faster, but it is what it is, I guess.
You can save that for Tokyo.
Yeah.
What are you going to be working on the next few months, heading into the European Championships and hopefully the summer?
I think it's probably just more of the same, really. Like I said, it's the best block of training that I've ever done. I was just unfortunate having far from the ideal taper, really. Considering like 2 weeks ago I was struggling to walk on my ankle, I'll take these performances, I guess.
Well done this week. We've loved watching you and can't wait to watch you this summer.
Thank you.
It's not too bad, is it? 156.7 for a 200 metres backstroke, basically with one leg. That's really a brilliant swim, and I fully expect him to be back on it by the time that the Olympic Games comes around. It's still 3 months away. There's a full training cycle still to come. And of course, he's working with all the sports scientists at Loughborough University, and where better to do that? Well, the speed is now going to hot up quite a lot because it is the fastest race for women. It is the women's 50 metres freestyle, and Anna Hopkin goes right in the centre, the fastest seed. But on the outside, look at this, Erin Little, 16 years of age, made the final, swam a lifetime best to qualify. And what a great experience just to be in the final of the British Olympic Selection Trials. Emily Barclay in lane 7. She's been doing a little bit of training in Arkansas with my old mate Neil Harper. Also did some super work with Anna Hopkin a year or so ago. She's now returned to Loughborough and is training with Mel and has done really well. Evelyn Davis in lane number 6. Well, I wonder if she could go on a relay. She's only 16 years of age, came 4th on the 400 metres freestyle in the 54.69. I'd love to see them take that 4x100 free relay. Isabella Hindley, Yale graduate, about to study medicine. What a way to go out if she does decide to stop swimming, which of course I'm not going to declare that for her. And then Anna Hopkin, well, fastest seed, and she really is the class of this field. The women's 50 metres freestyle, the second on the 100 metres freestyle in under the consideration time, so she's booked a spot in the pot to be considered for the Olympic team tomorrow. Lucy Hope, great Scottish record on the 100 metres freestyle. I wonder if she can get close to the Scottish record on this, the 50. It was set back in 2002 by Alison Shepherd. The time very quick, 24.68. Emma Russell of University of Stirling goes in lane 2, and then Harriet Rogers of Darlington completes the lineup. A really young field and a very exciting field. The final of the women's 50 metres freestyle. The qualification standard that they're all looking for is 24.60. Anna Hopkin in the centre went 24.81 this morning in the heats. So she needs 21/100. Breathed quite a lot, actually, I have to say. Breathed a little bit more than I expected her to, so I wonder if she'll just reduce that a little bit in this final. But the consideration time of 24.60, there she is, Anna Hopkin. At 24.6, if one of them swims it, will be the 10th fastest time in the world. These selection times are really tough. Of course, not all the countries have had their trials yet, so there'll be a fair few coming in under that over the next few weeks, but it is fast. 50 metres freestyle, one length, Hopkin in the centre. So important to get this dive right. They can go up to 15 metres underwater. And a really good start in lane number 5 from Isabella Hindley, but also now going well in the centre is Anna Hopkin, that straight arm stroke, and Hopkin starting to take over from Isabella Hindley. Hopkin looking really good, Hindley going with her though, and at the moment it's 1-2 for Hopkin and Hindley. Can they get under the time? 24.60, Hopkin wins it, yes she does, 24.79. So just outside the consideration time for this 50 metres freestyle, but she's made it on the 100 already. The consideration time there she did, so she's in the pot for consideration on that. Just outside on the 50, 24.79, Hopkin wins it. Hindley second of Brompton, 25.13, tied with Lucy Hope. Tied for second, so 24.7 wins it, 25.13, tied to 1/100th. Isabella Hindley second, tied with Lucy Hope of Edinburgh University. Evelyn Davis, the 16-year-old, was fourth. What a meet she's had, 25.27. Another lifetime best for her, and that 1/100th of a second inside the 16-year-old's national age group record. So a new 16-year-old's national age group record for Emma Russell. Harriet Rogers of Darlington in 7th, and again 16-year-old Erin Little in 8th. Gosh, the future's bright there, isn't it? Mount Cayley got, of course, one of the Olympic legacy 50-metre pools from here, from 2012. Robin Brew doing such a good job to get that pool moved and financed into the Mount Cayley organisation, and Emma Collins now taken over the squad, and they've got a huge squad, and it's a very, very exciting squad too. But no doubt about the winner. In the end, Anna Hopkin, fairly comfortable. 34/100ths of a second ahead of joint second place, Lucy Hope and Isabella Hindley. Well, it'll be very interesting to see what Anna has to say about that race. She's now talking to Jazz Carlin.
Anna, a really strong swim after the 100 freestyle yesterday and getting under that consideration time. How do you feel after that 50?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that swim. I think that's the fastest I've ever been outside of Worlds, so, and definitely the fastest I've ever been at this point in the season. So to be able to just step on a little bit from the heat and put on a really solid time, I'm pretty happy with that.
There's so many positives to take from it. Is the focus the 50 and the 100 freestyle?
Yeah, I like to focus on both. Obviously, I think the 100 takes precedent just because of relays, and you always have to kind of train up to the longest distance, but the 50 is always a fun one to do as well.
You touched on the relays too. What are the focus heading into this summer?
Yeah, it's exciting to hopefully have a shot at being part of that relay, and yeah, I'm just excited for the next few months.
Well, we've loved watching you this week, and we're looking forward to seeing you this summer.
Thank you.
Well, I'm very confident that she'll be on the plane to Tokyo in a couple of months' time. Second on that 100 metres freestyle to Freya Anderson, but well under the consideration time. And to take some sprint freestylers to the Olympic Games, I think Anna can get quite a bit faster than that as well on the 50. I'm sure Mel Marshall will be sitting down with her and having a look at the race itself. The sports science here who video the races, and they chop it up by minute detail and give them feedback. Lots of statistics on all the elements, the start, the underwater, the kicks, the breakout, the first few strokes, time to 15 metres. There's a massive amount of data that goes into it, allowing coach and athlete to really break it down and work out which bits were good and which bits were what areas to work on. And I'm sure that she'll be looking at that in detail. And with just 3 months to go, three and a half months to go to the Olympic Games, there's quite a lot still to do for a lot of these athletes, particularly with this year when it's been so broken with COVID. But to deliver the quality of swimming that British Swimming has done here, the management and the coaching staff have delivered a wonderful set of swimmers. How they've managed to do it, I just don't know. Massive applause to all of them. Well, I have waited all week for this. This is the big one for me of the whole meet. It is the men's 200 metres freestyle, the final of the British Swimming Selection Trials for 2021. I think they've saved the best for last. This is serious. 6 of these guys, in the time that they did in the heats, would have qualified for the Olympic semi-finals. 6 would have qualified for the semi-finals. Only 2 swimmers allowed per country, so clearly that can't happen. But these guys went so quick in the heats. Max Litchfield is in lane 8. His brother's joining him now, Joe Litchfield in 7. Here in 6 is James Guy. He won the 100 fly, he won the 200 fly. He was world champion on this race, the 200 freestyle, back in 2015. He's the English record holder at 145.1. And the new young pretender, Tom Dean. What a talent this guy is. Coached by Dave McNulty now at the Bath National Centre. Paul Lloyd of Maidenhead did such a super job with him to get him there. And now Duncan Scott in lane number 4, the new British record holder, the World Championship bronze medalist on this 200 metres freestyle from University of Stirling, from the stable of Steve Tigg. In 3, Matt Richards from Bath National Centre, second on the 100 metres freestyle, inside the consideration time. I'll be astonished if he's not on the plane fairly shortly going to Tokyo. His time, 48.23. And Callum Jarvis in lane 2. In the men's 4x200 metres freestyle relay for Great Britain, he's got 2 World Championship titles, European gold. And then Cam Curl in lane number 1, again from the University of Stirling. What a programme they've got. European champion on this men's 4x200 metres freestyle relay. He was a silver medalist at the European Games in Baku back in 2015. Gold medalist on the 4x1 free relay. But here they are. This is going to be an absolute firecracker. I expect Duncan Scott to win it, but not by an awful lot. And who's going to go with him? It's going to take some serious guts on this one. The tactics are going to be fascinating. James Guy in 6 went out incredibly quickly on the 100 to the 200 metres butterfly, and he won that, did the consideration time. A wonderful swim. I don't think he's going to swim it quite like that here. There's Duncan Scott. Fascinating body shape. Wonderfully hydrodynamic. He's so strong. Quite slight for a big freestyler. But goodness me, it's incredibly effective. And of course, the really important thing here, 2 things. 1, the individual 200 metres freestyle, but 2, membership of that men's 4x200 metres freestyle relay. We were World Championships champions in 2015, World Champions in 2017, Olympic silver medalists in Rio. Who of these 8 men is going to qualify for the Olympic team on the individual 200 metres freestyle and the 4x2? The final of the men's 200 metres freestyle. It is the big one for me. It is the big final, and right in the centre in the white hat, well, going out quite comfortably is Duncan Scott. Going out really quickly, 1 lane closer to us in the white hat is Tom Dean of the Bath National Centre. And tracking him 1 lane closer again in the black hat is James Guy. James Guy likes to go out quite quickly, but goodness me, Tom Dean is out 23.98 to his feet. Is it too quick? Look at Duncan Scott making his move already. Wow, well, he's taken about a metre off Matt Richards up there. The 18-year-old had a brilliant 100 metres freestyle to stick his name in the pot, but look at Duncan Scott go, so beautiful in that long, rangy, economical stroke. Duncan Scott first to turn at the 150.2. This is going to be very, very fast indeed. 1/10 of a second outside of world record pace at the halfway turn. Goodness me, this is really quick. Duncan Scott in the centre, Tom Dean still going with him. James Guy starting to go as well. The black hat in lane number 6, closer to us from those leaders. But this, a really good swim from Duncan Scott. He won the 200 medley in a 155.9, a brilliant swim that was. Won the 100 metres freestyle, equalled his British record on that. But this is a great swim, 1:16.88, just outside of world record pace. But this is going to be really, really fast if he can hold on down this last 25 metres. Also coming back now is Matt Richards up in 3. This is going to be really tight. Duncan Scott, though, looking good. Coming back again is Thomas Dean. Thomas Dean having another go. Surely he can't win it. Right on the touch. Oh, it's so close. 1:44.47. 144.47 is one at 144.58 is second for Tom Dean. Duncan Scott wins it, and ladies and gentlemen, stand up, the fastest 2 swims in the world this year. World rank number 1 and number 2. Gracious me. Tom Dean, buckets of guts going out so quickly, taking on the great Duncan Scott in lane number 4 on the left-hand side of that shot. He went out so fast. I'm really pleased for Tom Dean, because that has just secured his place in the individual 200 metres freestyle. World rank number 2, Tom Dean, because he was beaten by Duncan Scott, a massive British record that. 144.47. Tom Dean also under the old British record that was 144.9. Matt Richards in third, a great swim from him as well. James Guy in fourth, 146.0. That relay is looking awesome. 2 guys under 145. James Guy's well capable of that as well. We could have at the Olympic Games 2 144s, 2 145s, and who's to say at 144.47 that can't start getting close to the 143s. Goodness me. Well, I was excited for it, but I never thought they were going to go 2 of them 144.47. Fastest in the world was 144.6. Matsumoto of Japan winning the Japanese trials, but then no one else in the world's gone under 145. The third fastest swimmer, Matt Richards, 145.7, 77. Well, that would have placed him 6th fastest in the world this year, but with 2 of his teammates ahead of him, he's now 8th fastest in the world on the 200 freestyle. What a meet he's had. Goodness me. Well, that is quite phenomenal. British swimming, how on earth have you delivered this sensational stuff? Really extraordinary. Last in the finals, 147.7. Wow. Well, Duncan Scott's got to be really happy with that. I don't think he was particularly happy with his 100 free when he went 47, where did he go, 47.7, something like that? And he was really disappointed. He surely can't be disappointed with that. That was just unbelievable. He's just swum a lifetime best by half a second, fastest in the world this year. He was the World Championship bronze medalist 2 years ago, but that, I think he went 145 there. He's just gone 144.4. He's just getting his breath back. Oh dear. What a swim. I'm also utterly delighted for Tom Dean. What a swim that was. Well, he secured an individual race at the Olympic Games, surely. Selection meeting is tomorrow, but try not to pick those 2. Duncan Scott and Tom Dean talking to Jazz Carling.
Duncan, equalled your British record and your best time in the 100 freestyle, and you didn't seem so satisfied, but you've broke the British record there, new best time. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, delighted with the time, obviously, but I think just to get the win in that sort of field is really good. You know, first 200 freestyle since tapered since August 2019, so it's been a while. I believe Dino's missed the 145. I think he went 146 to 144. Fair play to him. But yeah, it's looking really good for our 4x2, so if we can just carry this on, it'd be great.
11 100ths of a second between you. What was going through your head on those final lap?
I probably didn't look it, but I guess just try and stay composed. Trust what I've done in training and what I've done for the last couple of years. Yeah, just trying to hold the strokes together because I was hurting.
On that silver medal winning relay team in Rio, obviously we've seen a real stacked field there. You must be excited heading into this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, we were a little bit disappointed with 2019, but it was a really strong field by the rest of the world. There was 145s everywhere. Relatively young team as well. So, yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to the 4x2, and I think everyone that was in that race should be as well, along with British swimming. So, Europeans and then some more events to work on it. But, yeah, I'm excited for that event.
Tom, that was incredible. So close on those final metres. As we said, you've skipped the 145s and gone down to the 144s. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. Skipped straight past that 145, I wasn't expecting. You know, I would have been happy with the 145, but I think Duncan just pulled me through there, and it feels like it's been a long time coming.
Obviously, you've waited to your final swim. We've seen you do two great swims in the 400 and the 100. What was going through your head this week to make sure you were ready for that final swim?
I mean, I knew I was on good form, PB in the 100, PB in the 4, so I knew something special was going to happen, but yeah, that was better than I could have ever expected.
And what's going to be the plan going forward with training heading into this summer? You're working with David McNulty and the support team there. What's your plan heading this summer?
I think just have a solid block, to be honest, leading into summer. You know, after getting COVID twice, having 3 weeks out of the pool each time, it's been pretty brutal coming into trials with, you know, some real disruption. So if I can get a solid block from here to the summer, then who knows what might happen.
Well, that is going to be a great swim to watch. We can't wait. We loved that. So congratulations to both of you. That was amazing.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm still absolutely in shock at such a fantastic set of times on that men's 200 metres freestyle. I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be quick. They had to go fast because slots for that 4x2 free relay, where Great Britain have got a super chance of getting a really lovely coloured medal out in Tokyo. Getting on that team is so tough. World rank 1 and 2 went 1 and 2 in that race. 144.47 and 144.58. First and second. Tom Dean skipped the 145s. That's extraordinary. Matt Richards third, 145.7. James Guy was fourth. Well, they're all on the team so far, but Callum Jarvis in fifth. Well, I think they might take a spare swimmer, maybe a morning swimmer, heat swimmer for that men's 4x2, because his time of 146.47, I think well capable of swimming a heat swim. So I think he may well now be putting himself in consideration. Possibly even Cam Curl too. 147.36, stunning stuff. I think maybe 2 new swimmers added to the team this evening, possibly 3. So we're now up to, what, about 26, 27 swimmers. And, well, between now and the Olympic Games, and of course at the Olympic Games, you can keep up with British Swimming news by following us on @BritishSwimming, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. But what a fantastic meet that has been, a really super meet. We've had some stunning swimming all across the board. Right on day one, when Adam Peaty went 2 of his fastest 20 times in history, no one else got anywhere near him. The fastest 20 swims in history he's got now. And surely he goes into Tokyo as a massive favourite. No one else gone under 58 seconds. He's still world record holder at 56.8. Swam 57.7 and 57.3 here. But so many wonderful swims. I've got to congratulate British Swimming for delivering so many great swims here under such difficult conditions. Pencil planning they've talked about. They plan with a pencil and then rub it out because they have to change it, and rub it out because they've got to change it again. Delivered so much. And then also to all the officials, the timekeepers, everybody here, the coaches, to put this meet on and see such wonderful swimming. And we're going to deliver some superheroes, I think, out in Tokyo. And the future is looking really, really bright. We heard from the National Performance Director. He's pretty excited about it. They're picking the first wave of the swimmers tomorrow. Probably about 25, 26, 27 swimmers, maybe. And then they've got chances to top up from the next meets over the next month or 2. But this is really exciting. Well, from me, Andy Jameson, from Jazz Carling, who joined me so wonderfully well for so long, and all the crew here, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great fun. What a great British swimming selection trials for the Tokyo Olympics. British swimming is in fantastic shape. See you soon.